Domain and range, discrete, graphs and tables. Domain are all the x values that are always written least to greatest and do not repeat the values. Range are all the y values written from least to greatest and never repeat the values. Example 1. You have 4 ordered pair showing. I need to find the domain and range. So just a reminder, domain are all the x values, range are all the y values. So first I'll start with domain. I'm going to highlight all the x values so I know which ones to write in my domain. Now domain is always written least to greatest. Since it's written least to greatest, I'm going to write it as -5, -3, 0, and 2. Now my range, which are all the y values. So I'm going to highlight all the y values. Again, range is from least to greatest. So my smallest number is -7, then 0, then 2, then 4. Now I need to determine if it is a function or not. Well, my x values do not repeat. Since the x values do not repeat, this is a function. Example 2. I have 4 ordered pair again. As a reminder, domain are the x values, range are the y values. So all my x values are being highlighted. And you always write your domain and range from least to greatest. So since I'm writing it least to greatest, it is -9, -1, and 3. I do not write the 3 both times because you don't repeat the values. Now my range are all the y values highlighted. So I write my range from least to greatest, which is -2, 0, 4, and 5. Notice that the x values do repeat. Since the x values do repeat, this is not a function. Next example. This time we have a table. So on the table, I have my x values on the left, my y values on the right. Domain are the x values, range are all the y values. So first I highlight all my x values. And again, domain and range are written least to greatest. So my domain would be -2, 0, 4, 8. My range are all the y values. Since I don't have to repeat the numbers, I only have to write 1 once. The x values do not repeat. We do not care about the y values. So since the x values do not repeat, this is a function. Example 4. Again, domain are all the x values, range are all the y values. So I'm going to highlight all the x values first. We always write domain and range least to greatest. So it's -3, 0, 6. Again, I do not write the -3 twice because you don't have to repeat the numbers. My range are all the y values, written least to greatest, so it's -2, 1, 2, and 8. My x values repeat, and since I have the -3's repeating in the x values, this is not a function. Example 5. Domain are all the x values, range are all the y values. This is called a discrete graph because they're points that are not connected. So my x values, I'm going to read off the x-axis. So the first point is -4. The next one has an x value of -2. The third one has an x value of 0. And the last one has an x value of 4. You always want to write the x values of each point from left to right because that is automatically least to greatest. Now my range are the y values. So I want to write all the y values from least to greatest. So I'm going to read the y values from bottom to top. So I have -1, 0, 1, and 4. Next, I'm going to do the vertical line test for this discrete graph. So when I put the vertical line through the first point, it only passes through one point. Same with the second, third, and fourth. Since the vertical line each pass through one point, then it passes the vertical line test. If it passes the vertical line test, then it is a function. Last example. Again, this is called a discrete graph because the points are not connected. Domain are my x values, range are all the y values. Domain is all the x-axis. So I'm going to read the x values from left to right of these points. So it's going to be -3, 1, and 4. Again, it's least to greatest, so I read it from left to right. My range are the y values, so I read the y-axis. I'm going to start from bottom to top. That way, it's automatically least to greatest. So my y values are -4, -3, -2, and 1. Now we do the vertical line test to determine if this is a function or not. The vertical line on the first one passes through 2 points. The second one through 1, the third through 1. Since the first line passed through 2 points, it failed the vertical line test. And if it fails the vertical line test, this is not a function.